Still waiting.
Yeah. Boy, that is weird.
All right. It's
Come
like we
on,
are
man.
live in eBay Treasure Hunters.
Oh, we are? Okay, then this is
Yep.
wrong.
It's
All
like
right,
we are
perfect.
live in eBay Treasure Hunters.
Where's my time? Are you sure?
Yep, I've got it on my phone.
Okay. Let me see if on any of the other channels. Yeah, it looks like we're live on YouTube.
Cool.
All right.
So
Okay,
let's see,
we're live.
we're live. We're back. Been a couple weeks. Two guys reselling. I'm Jeff Beeman Online. This is Chris, Succeed with Chris. And we like to talk a lot about eBay and reselling with our businesses. And yeah, we just get together and chat about what's going on, what's new, maybe, what's happening, answer some
That's weird.
questions, throw some questions out there that maybe we don't know, that kind of stuff. We are streaming into eBay Treasure Hunters. I believe my YouTube channel, Jeff Beeman Online, and then Chris's. Are you on your YouTube channel? And
Yep, I'm on my YouTube
where
channel and
all are you
Facebook
at?
too. Yeah,
Say that again. I'm sorry.
Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
You're on your Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Correct.
Yeah, the bad thing about this fan running in the background, I really have to turn my volume up. These little speakers that I've got don't do the job.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I was doing my morning Facebook, my morning YouTube over on my golf channel. I've switched everything over to that because I'm drafting and listing golf stuff primarily now. And I pulled the old, talk for 5 minutes and the microphone wasn't on. So I had that. And then, so I got going through there, and then the microphone decided to stop working, kind of like it did a few weeks ago. You and I were doing two guys reselling a few weeks ago, and
Mm-hmm.
plug it and run off the camera microphone, and then I plug it back in and it works fine. So I don't know what's the matter with it. Maybe I had it on too long. I don't know. But I think we're okay for now. So what's going on in California today? Were you listing, sourcing, shipping, all the
All of
above?
the above. All of
Excellent.
the above. Today was a really busy day. It was craziness.
Good. Good to be busy
Yeah.
if it's busy in the right context.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
All right. So tonight, we don't really have a topic tonight for anybody that joins us. Just say hi in the comments. Let us know where you're coming in from. We're just going to kind of cruise through. This is probably the biggest that I know of, anyway, of the groups that I follow. 160.6 thousand members in the eBay Thrifters group. So there's always opportunity to help somebody else out there, whether they're asking questions or if we happen to see something that maybe is not quite accurate. And it's not one of those things that we are trying to say we know it all, because we do not. But there's a lot of times that we can answer questions that can be a topic of conversation for us here. And this is the first one that I'm looking at for right now. And I was going to go look on eBay because I forget where to turn it on at. Maybe we can figure it out. But it says, remember or remind you send feedback to your buyers today.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, everybody jumped on the bandwagon to settings automatically, or that's automatically set up so we don't have to do that. When they pay, they get feedback. And I was trying to look through eBay real quick. I don't remember where to turn that on at. Do you know, Chris, off the top of your head?
Would it turn on the auto stuff to
Yeah.
auto? That's a good question. Hang on for a second.
Yeah, we'll have to look that one up. I know mine's turned on. I just don't remember where it was at that I turned it on.
Hmm.
But so yeah, anybody that's out there thinking about feedback, giving feedback to your customers, go ahead and give them feedback they bought from you. If it becomes a situation where there's a return or a misunderstanding or whatever, oh well. The higher percentage of people you're going to give feedback, good feedback to, or okay feedback to, it's going to be fine. Let's see, selling tools, selling
Okay,
announcement,
so it's on the
promotions,
selling preferences page.
selling preferences.
Hmm.
Mhm. Okay, shortcuts, promotional offers, selling announcements, selling tools.
Okay, so if you go to, let me see here, selling, seller account, selling preferences. So, okay, so up at the upper left-hand corner, where you see your name, if you hover over your name, it'll open up a menu, and you just want to go to account settings. Oh, here, let me see if I can set up a screen share.
I'm already doing it. I'm already on
Oh,
it.
you're there?
Yeah,
Okay, great.
I don't know
Let
if it's
me see.
I don't
There
know if
you
it's
are. Hang on for a
actually
second.
sharing, but
Yep, you're actually sharing right now.
okay. So then you come down to under selling, selling preferences. Okay. All
Selling
right. So anybody
preferences.
needs
There
to
you
know how to
go.
do this. Go to your name, let it hover, open, and then click on account settings. Come down in selling under selling preferences,
Hmm.
and then automatic feedback is right there, and you can edit it.
Exactly.
And so mine is set automatically positive feedback. Buyer has paid for the item.
Hmm.
And then you can put it on there for buyer has paid for the item and left me positive feedback. But, you know, I'm not worried about that. I'm going to give them positive feedback. Hey, thanks for coming and shopping with me. Uh, and if you're a scammer, then oh well.
Hmm.
No big, no, no sweat off my back, whatever they say. Because I've
Right.
got
And
99% of my buyers are just perfectly fine, and I'm glad to give them feedback.
mhm.
So,
Also, too, in the current eBay, you cannot leave bad feedback for a buyer.
correct.
So waiting until they've left feedback for you doesn't really make sense anymore. I understand how it made sense, 5, 10 years ago, but today it doesn't make sense anymore. So just set it automatic. After the person pays you, the system automatically leaves them feedback. I've done it that way, and it usually encourages the buyer to leave feedback for the seller as well. So just kind of keep those things in mind.
Yep. You can go ahead and switch us back to side by side if you want, Chris. I stopped sharing.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, you're fine. No
There
big
you
deal.
go.
So yeah, great point there. To you're giving them good feedback, and you hope everything's going to go smooth on the transaction. They're going to be more likely to give you some good feedback as well.
Hmm.
And I know there's people out there frustrating that you can't give a bad buyer bad feedback. But in that case, if you had a bad buyer situation, you deal with it the best you can. You block that buyer from coming in and buying anything from you again. And there's a whole bunch of videos out there on how to block buyers.
Hmm.
If you think you need to, there's a list, a continuing list of them out there. So good deal. So
Yep.
I hope this lady, she like somebody commented about it, and she was like, "Oh, no idea you could do that." Yep. That's I didn't know either for a long time, and I happened to see somebody post about it, and
Hmm.
I figured it out. So how we learn. That's how we learn.
Yep, yep. Now, when someone is when you're dealing with a customer and they're being unreasonable for whatever reason, don't automatically think they're trying to scam you and reply to them in the messaging system using very aggressive language. None of that is even required. It's not even relevant. So what you have to do is when you're dealing with a buyer and they're being unreasonable, you have to look at it from eBay's point of view. They may have to step in and resolve this situation. So you just want to have all of your ducks in a row, your tracking number, point them to your description. If they're disagreeing with something, but it was clearly listed in the description, be sure you tell them all of that. Send it to eBay. They're very good about dealing with this situation, but when dealing with the customer, always use polite language. And you can even let them know that you're going to forward this up the ladder to eBay support. I do that all the time, and it works pretty well.
Yeah,
So,
that may stop whatever the issue is right there.
mhm, exactly.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I know it's tough. Not minds. A lot of us that come into eBay, come into reselling, we're not in the mindset of business ownership in a lot of cases. Uh, we may have worked in some retail situations or something like that, but it doesn't matter where you work at. You still got to carry on a professional attitude and put your professional on when you're dealing with customers or clients or whatever it is that you have to deal with in your job. And it's real easy to get frustrated online, or you feel like maybe oh, I can say or do this and you can't hurt me because I'm behind my computer screen anyway. But it's real easy to think you can be snarky. It's real easy to
Hmm.
get into a little back and forth with somebody, and you just gotta, as they say, nip that in the bud before it even starts. As soon as somebody starts in, just handle it professionally and with courtesy, like Chris said, because if it does, it probably will get looked at by eBay, and or if you escalate it, then you definitely want to be on. Even if eBay sides with the buyer, at least you're not in trouble. You may have lost a
Hmm.
sale, you may have lost a little bit of money, but it keeps you out of trouble with eBay. So definitely keep that in mind as you go.
Exactly. And if things don't go your way, don't call up eBay support thinking you're going to give them a piece of your mind because they wronged you. That's not the proper attitude for selling on somebody else's platform. So you have to remember you can't take it personally. Um, the money you lost, it's just a loss. You just businesses lose money all the time. You have to make your accounting proper, reflect your losses, and hopefully you can make it up at the end of the year. But normally in reselling, the returns and the losses don't really kill us because what is it like 99% of your sales are fine. It's just that one, maybe 1.5% that's trying to, work you over or get something for nothing. So 1.5% of your sales, that's not going to murder you.
Yep.
It doesn't even come close.
Yeah. Now, and this whole topic is kind of taking us down a couple different rabbit holes here, but uh, thinking at it from the aspect of somebody like ourselves who are trying to run our business via eBay as our primary selling platform. We're trying to actually build up a business compared to somebody that just every once in a while has an item to sell. They're not really, you know, it's like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and see if I can sell this on eBay, make a couple bucks off of it, but they're not going to try to sell something every day. Not building a business. I mean, I had a guy that I went to school with. Um, got a hold of me through Facebook because he knew I sold on eBay, and he doesn't sell on eBay very often. He buys occasionally, and anyway, he tried to sell a computer, and he got scammed.
Hmm.
Basically, lost the computer. He lost the sale. he was getting rid of the computer anyway, but the computer value wise was around $300, and I forget what the whole circumstance was, but in his case, seller and as a buyer, because he's only on eBay occasionally, he's done with eBay. He don't want to mess with that no more. For those of us that working on eBay daily, though, we see that little bit of a loss, even if it is a chunk at the time. That little bit of a loss can be swept over and worked on and built back up over time because of all the other stuff that we are selling uh, and not having any issues with. But that's the fun of eBay. I mean, we've got those of us on here that are daily buying and selling, and then we've got the occasional. And you really got to, if you want to reflect well for others that are coming to eBay to buy, we've got to keep up. Those of us that buy and sell daily, we got to keep it professional. We got to keep things rocking and rolling. Otherwise, we're
Okay,
going to lose business because people are afraid of eBay because they had bad experiences.
you you raise a really good point with this one, Jeff, because know what you're doing. So if you're an occasional seller on eBay, and there are a lot of you guys out there, a lot of hobbyist sellers and stuff like that, stay out of electronics. You
Okay.
have to know your departments or niches. I hate that word niche. It's a buzzword that's left over from the ancient days of internet telemarketing, and I think it's horribly overused, especially when it comes to reselling. In reselling, we don't have niches, we have departments. And if you're going to sell in a specific department, even if you're only doing it on the occasion, you found some good stuff you want to sell, um, know your departments. Know which departments have the highest level of returns. Know your numbers to help protect you. And as an occasional seller, well, even as a full-time seller, I stay the hell away from electronics. I only sell them when they're new in the box and it's sealed. Um, that's the only time. And I
Yeah.
normally don't look for it. Like, you're sourcing and you see a good deal on a group of computers, I stay away from it. If it was a group of comic books, video games, movies, regular books, I would jump all over it. But electronics, I stay away from. It has the absolute highest level of returns on eBay. And the level of returns, I think, is ridiculous. It's like somewhere around 30-40%. I mean, it's really all the other departments, it's like 10% and below. Electronics, it just gets way up there. It's a ridiculous statistic. And don't get me wrong, there are a lot of people who are full-time sellers and they've become experts in the electronics department. They make a lot of money, they have a good time, but even they will admit they have a high percentage of returns. So just keep that in mind and do a little research.
Yeah, and I think the biggest factor with the electronics area is the not people don't know how to test the electronics or how to, especially computers. You bring a computer home, and you need to have it cleaned off. You need to get it up and running again if you want to sell it in good condition. Um, and then even then, there's still a high percentage because there's a lot of scammers on the electronics. There's a lot of know people that they know that they can get away with it. So
Mm-hmm.
that just happens to be one of the areas that gets picked on the most because it's easiest. It's the easiest one to scam, I think.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's very bizarre. Um, I started selling electronics. I started selling refurbished electronics when I first jumped on eBay, and it was horrible. People would send me messages. They always wanted to contact me off eBay. They always had this thing. Oh, we want to buy like 100 motherboards, but we don't want to pay through eBay. We want to give you the credit cards directly. And they wanted to spread it over 3 or 4 different credit cards, and it was just a mess. And the one of the main reasons why I got out of it, it wasn't the return rate that got me, it was the scammer rate. I was spending a good deal of time every day just sifting through these idiot scammers that, I don't know, they wanted free electronics, or I really don't understand what their deal was. If they
Yeah.
stole credit cards, or what the thing was, but I got out of it. But remember, this is like 15 years ago, so that's a
Yeah,
long
it's.
time
I mean,
ago.
I've sold electronics. I've picked up some vintage stuff at estate sales. My
Hmm.
favorite one was an old radio that still had the glass tubes in it, and some of the collectible stuff. If you get the collectible customer, they're going to do everything they can to make sure that it's right. Because they want it for a reason.
Hmm.
And one, he told me how he wanted to pack it specifically so that it would get there undamaged, and it did. And we got it there to him, and he was happy. He was good with it. So I mean, yeah, like you said, there are many sellers out there, VCRs and uh, radios and you know computers, iPads, all kinds, all the day technology, cell phone. I
Hmm.
really looked hard at the cell phone categories, a while back, and because they're fairly easily accessible from people. But again, you've got that whole extra knowledge base that you have of how to get that phone cleaned off and make it so that the buyer can use it when they get it. And
Hmm.
there's just a lot of technical stuff that has to be done with that kind of area as well. So I like the three S's: simple to source, simple to list, simple to ship. that's
Hmm.
where we make our money. So
Yep.
electronics is a step that I just didn't want to stay in either,
Mm-mm.
for sure.
Yeah, too many things could go wrong.
All right. So here's another misconception that we can talk
Hmm.
about for a minute. Is it true that I may use this is shipping? We're switching our mindset from selling electronics and whatever it was we were talking about before. Oh yeah, we went back to giving good reviews, but this
Hmm.
one is shipping. So we're going to switch our mindset to shipping. Is it true that I may use a free USPS box, regardless of the type of box, if it's regional, flat rate, express, mailing box, to ship something different, a different way than what the box says it is? I was told by a USPS worker that I could, since they go by the label that you put on the box instead of looking at the box and seeing if the label matches up.
That's not true.
That's correct.
That's not even remotely true.
Yeah.
Now, the only exception to that is Poshmark.
Okay.
Poshmark has a special contract with the U.S. Postal Service, which is why, if you notice, if you go on Poshmark, you can order up to, I want to say, 5 pounds of merchandise, and the shipping is like, I don't know, I want to say somewhere around $10 to ship your order. Now, they only ship USPS priority mail, and you can take that label and put it on any USPS priority mail box, regardless of the box's designation. Now, since USPS has gotten rid of the regional rate mail, they no longer support regional rate mail. You
Yep.
can use those regional rate A and B boxes for your regular USPS priority mail shipping. You're just not going to see that same regional mail discount.
Right.
But other than that, those boxes have a specific designation. So if I print out a slip and it says USPS padded, flat rate padded envelope, and I put that on a USPS priority mail large box, they're going to send it back to me because that label only goes on that envelope. And the reason why that is, you're like, why is that? It doesn't make any sense. It does make perfect sense. That regional rate envelope retails is like $9 or $10. But if I put it on a USPS large box, the potential of that large box value to the post office, depending on its weight, could be anywhere from 25 to $50, depending. So that's why her statement is completely untrue and will get your orders returned to you. You will not receive any type of refund on posting when your stuff gets returned to you. You have to make a new label and pay for postage all over again.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I'm not going to say that 100% of the time they're going to catch that, but a good percentage of the time they're going to catch that. You may get by with it on occasion if somebody slips up, or if I say I drop it off at my Indiana USPS and it's going to another Indiana USPS, and it's just such a quick transaction that they, maybe they missed that one or something. But
Right.
yeah, eventually you're going to get caught. And it's one of the comments on this particular one. There were several comments, of course, but some were saying, "Oh, just put a brown wrapping paper around it, and away you go." And it's like, well, again, that's another one you might get away with it on occasion, but the mail, there's people that check that stuff. That's their job to make sure that you're shipping quickly. Media mail is another big one that a lot of people make mistakes on. You can't just slap a media mail on anything because the rate's lower. It has to be media. So.
I remember, okay, the year's 2013, and I just scored all of these large, new in box, the box has never been opened, Buffy the Vampire Slayer action figures. But these weren't like the little ones. These were the big ones. They were like 15 inches tall. They were premium. And I'm selling these things on eBay, and I'm shipping them media mail because some idiot told me if it was media related, so Buffy the Vampire Slayer is a TV show, television is media, therefore it qualifies. Not even remotely, not even close. One of them got through. One of them made it to their destination. The other 4 came back to me.
Yep.
And that's how I know so much. Not only did they come back to me, but the boxes were open. One of them, because of the way they opened the box, the package, the box, the action figure came in, was cut open a little bit. Yeah, their box cutter went into the item. There's nothing I can do about it because they're not responsible. Had I slapped a bunch of insurance on it, I could have made some type of claim, but I didn't do that. I had to refund the buyer for that particular one. And then the other 2, I just had to pay for the postage again and ship them out and apologize to them because their item is late.
Yeah.
And you know how people are about late items.
They're watching that stuff. They're tracking their packages. You betcha.
Yep. So really be careful about the advice you follow. Maybe not follow the first piece of information given to you. Maybe try to authenticate it some way. That's why I really believe in our group and what we're doing here, because people can just shoot us a question and we can just tell them whether or not it's true or false. And we can even show them where on eBay the facts are supported, because eBay has this, they have a massive, first of all, they have seller support. They have a Facebook group that you could put questions into. That's eBay for Business on Facebook. And then they have on their own servers, eBay servers, they have their own forum, their own Q&A message boards where you could just type your messages and different eBayers will answer your questions. So there's a lot of places to confirm information. So there's no reason for you to be in a Facebook group, read something, and just take it for face value, believe it, and then go out and lose a bunch of money because it was bad information. And I'm speaking from experience, and I'm sure, Jeff, you've been there too, where you took some bad advice and it led you down profit loss.
Yeah, that's a daily thing. Right? Yeah. Yeah, it's Yeah, yeah, you got to. And again, I've commented on this before. For anybody that's watching this, Chris is very, very good at knowing his platform.
Oh wow, we lost Jeff completely. Right in the middle of giving me a compliment.
Chris,
Oh, there you are. Nope, nope, you cut out again.
find the information, but I don't think it's people being lazy either. I think it's just people that don't sell regularly, don't sell daily. Maybe they sell every once in a while or sell semi-weekly, whatever. And they just get in a hurry to take. I'm cutting out. Okay, you were
You're good
froze up there.
now. You're solid
Yeah,
green
you were
right
froze
now.
up there for a second. But they're not taking the time to do that research because they don't know what they don't know. I think in many cases.
Mm-hmm.
So it takes learning your lesson the hard way, like shipping action figures under media mail, or messing up on. In my case, I'm always messing up with my bigger items, and I'll not list the shipping correctly, and I'll accidentally have a first class designation on there, and it's actually priority mail that it should have been. So when the customer buys, they're just paying the first class that I charge them, and I've got to turn around and pay the extra priority mail charges because
Mm-hmm.
I have to send it priority mail as a bigger, heavier item than what first class allows. So yeah, that's the learning experience for sure. The one thing that does get me though, and again, and this goes to the buyer not knowing and maybe not being used to the eBay platform, or they think they're trying to get away with one maybe, but I see occasionally an item that is definitely not media mail, and they will click the media mail shipping when they get a choice, when it allows them to do that. Uh, so, I have to look at it, and I'm not. It's one of those things where I need to do some research myself on. I don't know if Chris, if have any further answers for it, but so when I'm setting up my shipping, and normally it's always first class options or priority mail options along with UPS and FedEx in case that happens to be cheaper, especially selling golf clubs because of their length. Don't want that extra USPS surcharge on there. But somebody clicks the media mail. Are they paying the media mail price, and then I'm stuck paying what I know it has to go out as? In
Yes.
that situation, that's what I'm thinking too. So they do kind of get away with one then, don't they? If they
Well,
picked media mail, and that's what it charges them.
they shouldn't be able to pick media mail though.
You would think that, yeah.
No, no, not you would think. They should not be able to. What I'm
Yeah, so
saying is
therefore I've got the shipping set up incorrectly on that item when they find the media mail.
either that or you have an eBay support issue because
Well,
there's
that's possible.
obviously something wrong on their side. So definitely double check your shipping policies to make sure on the areas where media mail doesn't apply, you're not offering it as a choice.
Right.
So be sure of that. And then if that's the case, let's say you're only offering, USPS first class mail up to 16 ounces, and that's your only choice. But from the buyer's perspective, if they buy it, they can choose media mail. You want to contact eBay support immediately because you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Because people will always choose, well, not always, but most of the time, they will choose the cheapest option, even if they have to wait a little bit longer for the item. And if you don't believe me, buy something from Amazon right now. Buy something from Amazon. And if you're an Amazon Prime member and you pick that 2 day shipping or 1 day, whatever they offer under Prime, when you go to check out, they'll offer you a discount if you wait a couple days longer before you get the item. They offer you a credit, a discount, a gift card. It depends on what it is. But I thought that was very interesting that now they're trying to take pressure off of their support team by offering additional discounts for people who are willing to wait longer. And that is a very popular option right now.
Well, everybody's online. The systems are backed up, and hey, if you can wait a little
Mm-hmm.
longer, we're going to give you a little help.
Yep. Yeah.
Good
So,
deal.
people look at media mail and they think they're doing the same thing.
Yep. All right. Well,
Mm-hmm.
one more here for discussion, and this one I see come up quite a bit in the groups as well. I'm an experienced seller, so I need some input. I don't offer refunds, but I know that doesn't matter sometimes. Any advice on what to do? I've never asked eBay. I've never asked eBay to step in. So he's got somebody, he sold some shoes and got somebody that wants to return them, but he's saying I don't accept returns. The biggest misconception I think on returns is if eBay feels like you've made a mistake in your description, or if the item may be a little bit not what it is, and they can see that based on pictures, your description, stuff like that, they can force you to take the return. An item not as described, INAD. That's the biggest one that eBay is going to get you on. If you made a mistake and your description is not correct, or the title doesn't match the item, uh, whatever the case may be, if it's item not as described, you missed the size, maybe you listed it as a large and it's an extra large, something like that, and somebody wants to return, even though you have no returns clicked, you are going to get stuck with that. I'm trying to think of any other besides an INAD, where eBay is going to say, "Oh no, you're going to have to accept that return
If you don't ship on time,
if you don't ship on time." Okay,
if you don't ship on time, your shipping promise is like a contract between you and eBay. And if you violate that contract, eBay has the right to refund the customer on your behalf.
good. No, good to know. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Um,
And
but
but remember, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. And your comment when you were reading that was he has never contacted eBay seller support.
yep, never
He's
asked eBay to
never
step in. Yeah.
right. This is a huge mistake. This is a big, huge, whopping failure of a mistake, and the failure is on your end. Why do you think we pay eBay all of that money that we pay them? I mean, think about it. We pay eBay a lot of money. And I want to swear and throw out a bunch of four-letter words because it gets frustrating when I see how much money I pay to eBay every month. You've got your store rental. You've got your what's that called? Final value
Final
fees.
value fees. Yep.
Final value
Insertion
fees.
fees sometimes.
Well, not if you have a store. Yeah,
Well, if you go
sometimes
over
you
though,
might.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So I mean, I'm in that middle level, that premium store. I've got 10,000 listings. I'm not going over. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm being realistic about it right now. I've got 10,000 listings. If I go over 10,000 listings, it's time for an anchor store. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Time for some employee help too.
Exactly. And then we've got our promoted listings fees. So when all is said and done on some of this stuff we sell, not including postage, we're already in it by 40%.
Yeah.
Think about that. So use eBay, use their support. It's not a point of honor to keep eBay out of the equation. That's one of the reasons why we pay them all that money, is so that they can step in and resolve things fairly. But just keep in mind, and eBay's very clear about it in their policies. You can, you can say no returns, no refunds, but eBay has the final word.
Yeah.
It would
And so
be
you
it
got to
would be
remember,
better if
we're
you
not
accepted.
working for them, but we're renting
Mhm.
space from them for the reasons of biggest one, traffic. Um, and they handle all the legalities for us. I mean, we have to deal with their fees. We have to deal with some others. But a lot of that stuff is there also to protect you from any big lawsuit that could come out of nowhere and sidetrack you or sideswipe you.
Well, now be careful there, Jeff. Be careful there. It's very, 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 very limited. We don't work uh, under their umbrella. So like, if Nike decided to come after me specifically, eBay is going to be like, here, have him, and here's his whole file. They're going to
True.
be
Yeah.
very compliant because they don't want to be sued themselves. But you do make a good point. eBay works for us. They're there to help us. Please take advantage of everything they have to offer, especially in situations like this where someone doesn't want to give a refund. If eBay steps in, eBay can end it once and for all and tell the buyer, you're wrong, you're not getting a refund. Probably not going to go that way, but it could.
It does on occasion. I've seen people that, again, they followed the system. They contacted eBay.
Hmm.
They were professional. They were courteous. They contacted eBay and said, "Here's what I'm dealing with. Can you help?" And eBay has on occasion stepped in and said, "Yep, in this case, we are going to side with the seller, and the buyer is going to have to keep that item in a refund." It does happen. We promise
Hmm.
it does happen on occasion.
Yep. Now, I offer in my eBay store, I offer free returns on absolutely everything I sell.
So do I.
A lot of, yep. And a lot of people will say that's crazy, that's dangerous. But it's really not. My return rate is between 1% and 1.5%. Um, so it's really not very high. So out of every 100 orders I send out, one gets returned. Just consider that for a minute there. Okay. Also, free returns gives you a lot more visibility in eBay system. It puts the customer's mind at ease because all of a sudden you reduce the risk factor if they're dealing with you for the very first time. And finally, saying you're not giving refunds does not protect you from giving out refunds. eBay has the final say, and if they say this person gets a refund, they're going to refund them on your behalf and then bill you on your invoice. So it doesn't protect you. It doesn't do any good. It just kind of makes you look shifty, like shifty, like buy stuff from me. Um, Beware, buyer beware, that type of thing. It doesn't in today's climate. It doesn't go well. So you might as well just offer the refunds because every time someone has tried to scam me with a stupid return, eBay has always backed me. There was a couple of times where it was credit card fraud, and eBay let me keep my money and then just refunded them from the seller protection fund. So just keep that in mind. eBay's not out to screw you. Um, they do charge you money, so you might as well use their services like they're one of your own employees. All right, Jeff, what do you got for us?
Just
Oh, there
showing
you
real
go.
quick.
Nice.
This is the service. If you need to check your refund status, how many refunds have you had? If you have a lot of refunds going on, then eBay that affects your eBay metrics, and at some point in time, eBay step in and say, "Whoa, you need to whatever it is you're doing because you've got way too many returns coming back. That's not good customer service." eBay is 100% about customer service. So if you need to check your refund situation, you just go into where was it? Oh, under performance, and your under performance, go down, click service, and this store. This is my golf store, and I, I hadn't been selling a whole lot on it for a while, starting to put up, but have not had any returns for a long time. I'm not sure how to check for your returns or refunds, but so I'm in good shape on that. My other store, my everything store, I've had some refunds. I need to go look at that. And just double check myself on that because I have had a few refunds and a couple of returns here and there, but it shouldn't, for the amount of sales, it shouldn't be any effect on it. But that's where you check it at, under your seller hub, under performance, under service metrics, to see how you stand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know, to reinforce what Jeff just said, um, if you're getting a lot of returns, if your returns are 3% or higher, you really need to reevaluate what you're doing. Look at your listings, see how they're worded. Look at your pictures. Are you highlighting all of the flaws? Are you completely honest? Are you no? When I say I'm not calling anyone a dishonest freak or anything like that. Don't be offended. What I mean is, are you including all of the details about the specific product? Like if it's a table and it looks like a wooden table from the 1900s, but the thing is only 3 inches high, please be very candid that the item is only 3 inches high, so the person doesn't pay you $20 and thinking they're getting a actual dining room table they can eat dinner on. You know,
Yeah,
and,
you
and
hit the
I,
right angle with a camera, and you can make a dollhouse table look really big.
Uh, that's funny you say that because my little sister had a dollhouse, and I remember looking through a catalog because I was going to buy her some dollhouse furniture for Christmas. And this is way back when in the 1980s, so paper catalog.
Yeah,
And I remember what you're saying. A lot of that furniture was so detailed, it looked like real life-sized furniture and not a toy a little person would play with. I mean,
yep, yeah, and they're very authentic looking too.
yeah. Oh, and that show, the middle, that show, the middle, about the people living in Indiana. They had an episode where the wife thought she was getting an excellent deal on this specific type of dining room table, and when she got it, it was like 5 inches high for her dollhouse.
Crazy.
Mhm. It's common. So really look at your listings, look at your pictures, highlight the flaws, be as detailed as you possibly can, and see if your return rate doesn't go down. If it still doesn't go down, you're in serious trouble because you could be suspended from eBay. And if it continues, they'll just delete your account and not allow you to sell on the platform again. So,
They will come through and smack your hand
yeah.
for that one, for sure. So that's
Mm-hmm.
a good topic for our group, Chris. When up and rolling, um, we can have a little blurb, a module, if you will, about
Mm-hmm.
how to reduce your returns. And so we'll make sure to
Oh,
have that
most
available.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, man. So we've 45 minutes here, so I'm gonna go ahead and start shut down for the night. And yeah,
Yep.
Chris and I and our partner Dave are working on a program. Should have things rolling out here in the next 20, 30 days here pretty smoothly, to help folks that
Mm-hmm.
want our help in making sure that their eBay business gets off and running and continues to grow from there. So uh, keep an eye out for that. You can get on my newsletter at mydailymoneymaker.com. It will be on my YouTube channel. It'll be down in the description area, possibly over on the eBay Treasure Hunters group. And
Mm-hmm.
that way you'll be notified that information as we get ready to release that information and make it available. So keep an eye
Yep.
for that. Yep.
Yep.
And
And don't
you're
worry,
watching
guys.
this.
You're not.
Sorry.
Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry. Go ahead. I was just going to say, don't worry. You're not going to miss it because the closer we get to the date, we will be talking about it a lot. We will be sending out emails. We'll be posting it on our social media. There's no way you're going to miss it.
Um, yeah, and if you're watching either one on our YouTube channels, be sure to subscribe. And that way you'll be notified when we put new content out, because there will be content about that coming out on the YouTube channels as well. So And we always like to have new subscribers and that thumbs up so we can have the YouTube algorithm all nice and happy with us. So that everybody gets to see the videos.
Yep.
All right. You got anything else, Chris? We good to go?
Nope, we are good to go.
All right, man. I will talk to you later. And thanks, everybody, for joining. Talk to you soon and happy selling.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.